Good morning, students. Today we will discuss in continuation of where we left in the last class, and we are going to start with a topic called that sum results on two or more straight lines. Okay. The first and foremost, what we are going to see is that let's consider two straight lines. Okay. That we are going to take two straight lines. The first straight line we are going to take is that ax plus by plus c is equal to 0. The first straight line we take, let me use a different color, that ax plus by plus c is equal to 0. And another one is that a dash x plus b dash y plus c dash equal to 0, where a, b, c, a dash, b dash, c dash all are real number, in which a and b cannot be 0 at the same time, and also a dash and b dash cannot be 0 at the same time. Okay. And we also learned, dear students, in our previous classes that this equation, what you see, that ax plus by plus c is equal to 0, this is the general equation of a straight line. Now, what we are going to discuss is that if we have two such straight lines, then their general equation will be something like that. The first one will be ax plus by plus c is equal to 0. And the second one is that a dash x plus b dash y plus c dash equal to 0. Now we are going to find some results out from these two straight lines. Okay. Now let us define these two straight lines are defined by this straight line, what we can define as L1. Okay, let me use a different color. Suppose this straight line we defined as L1 and this straight line we defined as L2. So L1 is a straight line represented by ax plus by plus c is equal to 0. And L dash, L, and we can define actually more than L1, L2, we can define as L and L dash, because as their coefficient are a dash, b dash, c dash. So let's do this thing. So what we can say is that first straight line, what we can say is that is as L, and the second straight line we defined as L dash. Okay. Now the first thing what we can say is that they are slopes. Okay, because when there are two straight lines, to understand the difference between the straight line or the orientation of these two straight lines is just by first and foremost thing is that how they are actually making with the positive, how much angle they are making with the positive direction of the x-axis. Okay, so that is the first way to understand whether these two straight lines are intersecting or they are parallel, or or they are completely identical. Okay, so that how you can decide that how the orientation is, and to understand the orientation is that how much angle they are making with the positive direction of the x-axis. So then what we can say is that let us consider that two arbitrary straight lines, that L and L dash, the equation of their as we see is that ax plus by plus c is equal to 0, that is represented by L, and another one is that a dash x plus b dash y plus c dash equal to 0, that is represented by L dash. Moreover, let us assume that m be the slope of the straight line L, slope or gradient the way we define, and m dash be the slope or gradient of the straight line L dash. Then how we can find the slope of how we can find the value of m and m dash from that equation. So I discussed in one of our previous lecture, but still let me tell you, because this is very important part. So you look into the first equation, that ax plus by plus c is equal to 0. From here, what we will do, dear students, that our target is to express this thing, this equation, in the form of y equal to mx plus c. And if you recall, y equal to mx plus c is what form? That is a slope-intercept form. Okay, so from there we can find the value of slope. So from here what we can write, by is equal to minus ax minus c. So from here we can write y is equal to minus of a by b into x plus minus of c by b. Now if you make an analogy with this equation with the slope intercept form, what we know is that y equal to mx plus c, what we can say, that m is nothing but minus a by b, correct or not? Okay, and c is, and in the intercept, y intercept, that is actually minus c by b. So if you make an analogy with this one, so what we can get is that from here we can find the value of m, okay, is what we get is that minus a by b. M is the slope of that straight line, ax plus by plus c. So what we get, the value of m is equal to minus a by b. In the similar manner, we can find the slope of the line a dash x plus b dash y plus c dash equal to 0. So a dash x plus b dash y plus c dash equal to 0. In the similar manner, we can find its slope is, if we define it as m dash, that should be equal to minus a dash by b dash. Correct? Dear students, any doubt, please do let me know. So these are the slope of the two straight lines, L and L dash. So what we get, first we get is that, m is equal to minus a by b, and m dash is equal to minus a dash by b dash. Now, what we can observe from here, okay, when two straight lines are parallel. So these are the two things we got. We already derived it, but I'm just writing it down. Now the first thing, first and foremost, is that the two straight lines, are parallel when their slopes are equal, correct or not? So first and foremost thing is that what we can say is that the two straight lines are parallel if their slopes are equal. Why their slopes are equal? That also you can ask this question, that sir, why that their slopes are equal if the straight line has to be parallel to each other? If the two straight lines, if I give you a visual representation, okay, suppose let's consider these are the coordinate axis. Okay, this is x-axis, this is y-axis, and this is the origin. Suppose we have a straight line, something like this, what you see in the blue color. Now suppose I have another straight line parallel to it. Okay, so this is mean by parallel straight line. Assume these are parallel. Why I'm telling you to assume? Because my writing straight line drawing is not exactly understood, right? Now if you see, both the straight lines are making an equal angle with the positive direction of the x-axis, correct or not? Okay, so that means their corresponding tan should be equal. Okay, that means what? If I extend, if I draw the straight line something, more practical manner, suppose the green line, blue straight line I'm drawing like this, and the green line, what I'm drawing, something like this. Okay, assume these are parallel. So if this angle is phi, then what is, according to our understanding, m dash is equal to tan phi. Now if this angle is theta, then what is our understanding? M is equal to tan theta. So this is the straight line L, and this is the straight line L dash. Correct now, dear students? So you know that as the straight lines are parallel, then definitely theta has to be equal to phi. Correct? So what has to be? That theta has to be equal to phi. Now theta is equal to phi means what? This implies the value of tan theta should be equal to value of tan phi, and that implies tan theta is nothing but m and tan phi is equal to m dash. M equal to m dash. So m equal to m dash means what? We already found what is the value of m, that is minus a by b, and value of m dash is equal to minus a dash by b dash. So from here what we get? A into b dash is equal to a dash into b. Correct? And this is the condition we get. I hope it is clear, dear students. In the similar manner, we are going to find that under what condition, the slope, under what condition the two straight lines are perpendicular to each other. Okay, let us understand this. That suppose we have two straight lines, this as you see that L and L dash. That two straight lines L and L dash will be perpendicular to each other if the product of their slopes is equal to -1. That means m into m dash should be equal to -1. Then we can say that these two straight lines are perpendicular to each other. Let us understand this situation as well. Okay, so how we can do this thing? So let us make a visual representation. Suppose this is the coordinate axis, x-axis, and this is the y-axis. Now we have two straight lines perpendicular to each other. What does it mean? It means that if one straight line is something like this, if this is we defined as L, okay, and the other straight line, if I, they are perpendicular to each other. If you see this thing, this is L dash. Now the angle between them, this is 90 degree. Okay, so that then only we can say this they are perpendicular to each other. Now what is the angle made by the the line L, that is what is the blue line with respect to the positive along with the angle made by the straight line L with the positive direction of x-axis. Suppose if we define as theta, then this is m is equal to tan theta. Correct, no, dear students? M is equal to tan theta, and the angle made by the that green line, which is L dash, is makes an angle of phi with the positive direction of x-axis. Then it is m dash is equal to what we can say is that tan phi. Correct? Now we can say is that theta and phi are related. Okay, from the very fundamental triangle property. So if we define this triangle is something like this, the triangle is ABC. What we can say is that if this is A, this is the point of intersection of that line L dash with x-axis be B, and the point of intersection of the line L with the x-axis be C, and A be the point of intersection of the two straight lines L and L dash. What we can say, dear students? We can say theta is equal to phi plus 90 degree. Correct or not? So that implies what? That implies tan theta. I hope you understood why theta is equal to 90 degree plus phi, because that theta is the external angle extended to the triangle ABC, and that should be sum of the two opposite internal angles. Very fundamental property of triangles. So tan theta is equal to tan of 90 degree plus phi. Correct, not dear students? So from here, what we can get? Tan theta, tan 90 degree plus phi, 90 degree, and all 90 degree means 1 into 90 degree, that is 1 into pi by 2, dear students. 1 into pi by 2 means what? It is an odd multiple of pi by 2. So that will be cot phi. Now whether it will be positive or negative, that depends on that 90° plus phi is in which quadrant. 90° plus phi is in the second quadrant, and in second quadrant tan is negative, so it will be negative. Okay, so the relevant lecture of this trigonometric allied angles, how you can look into find the other video lectures which is available in the online platform as well as in YouTube. So from here what we can get is that tan theta is equal to minus 1 by tan phi, because we know that cot phi is nothing but 1 by tan phi. So from here what we can write, tan theta into tan phi is equal to minus 1. Now what is tan theta? Tan theta is nothing but m, and what is tan phi? That is m dash, that is equal to minus 1. Now what is m? If we look into it, what is the value of m? M we know is that minus a by b. So this implies minus a by b into minus a dash by b dash is equal to minus 1. So from here what we get, a dash plus b dash is equal to 0. And this is a required condition that two straight lines has to be perpendicular to each other. Fundamental thing you should know, dear students, is that the product of their slopes should be equal to minus 1 when they are perpendicular. And this is the way I derived it. Now let's discuss the point is that when the two straight lines will be identical. Okay, identical means is that the coefficients of x, y, and the constant term are in the same ratio. Then we can say they are identical. So let me give you an example, and with a representative visual representation, and then it will help you to understand what is exactly meant by that. So dear students, let me draw the coordinate axis first. So this is x dash, this is y dash. Please assume that these two axes are perpendicular to each other. According to my drawing, it is not exactly looks like that, but it is quite obvious that they are perpendicular to each other, Cartesian coordinate system. So now identical means what? That if we have the first equation as that ax plus by plus c is equal to 0, and the second equation as a dash x plus b dash y plus c dash is equal to 0, their coefficients are equal proportion. That means a by a dash. So if I use a different color, okay, identical means what? That means they are identical. That means what? A by a dash is equal to b by b dash is equal to c by c dash. Correct? So now if this is the case, what we are going to get is that we'll get a b dash c dash is equal to b a dash c dash, and that is equal to c a dash b dash. So that is what is meant by the two straight lines are identical. That means if you represent the first straight line like this, okay, and the second straight line should also be just coinciding with it, because the moment they are equal proportion, you can just divide it and you can write that okay, this are actually coming on top of it. They are coinciding. And dear students, if you just recall if you just recall that when two linear equations of two variables, when they are going to have infinite number of solutions, dear students, think about ax plus by plus c is equal to 0 is a linear equation in two variables, and a dash x plus b dash y plus c dash equal to 0, that is also a linear equations in two variables. When these two linear equations are, we are going to solve these two linear equations together. If you recall in your class 10 standard, information, is that when these two system 9 and 10 standard is that having going to have infinite number of solutions when the coefficient of x, coefficient of y, and constant term, they are in the equal proportion. That means a by a dash equal to b by b dash is equal to c by c dash. That means what? That means any point on this straight line, if you consider any point on this straight line is a solution to the system of linear equations, correct or not? And if you recall, dear students, when two parallel straight lines are there, then you cannot find a solution, right? That means if you look into it, that two parallel straight lines, the first case what we are discussing, this case, when there are two parallel straight lines, what happens is that they never intersect. As they never intersect, you cannot find a solution for x and y. And what is the condition? That the two these are represented by the linear equations, no? Ax plus by plus c is equal to 0, ax plus by plus c is equal to 0, and the second one is that a dash x plus b dash y plus c dash equal to 0. Then what we are getting, a by a dash is equal to b by b dash. That's what we get. A by a dash equal to b by b dash, exactly the same condition, but that should not be equal to c by c dash. Okay, then only we can say the system of linear equations has no solution, right? I'm just making a kind of an analysis whatever we have learned in the linear equations of two variables and how they are related with the straight lines when you're making a visual representation. Correct now? So this is what I wanted to just touch base. And whenever you see that a by a dash is not equal to b by b dash, then these two straight lines that intersect and they have a unique solution. Anyway, so I hope you understood what is meant by the the two straight line under what condition they are actually identical. Now, dear students, what we are going to find is that the angle between two straight lines. Okay. So, what is the angle between the two straight lines? So that we are going to find it out now. So let theta be the acute angle between the two straight lines L and L dash. Okay. And then we are going to find the value of theta in terms of their slopes, or in the other way we can say we can find the angle theta in terms of the coefficient of x, y, and constant term of the corresponding two equations. So let me first make this presentation in front of you, and after that let me explain. So as you see, dear students, here is if let theta be the acute angle between the two straight lines L and L dash. So let me first make a visual representation of these two straight lines. Okay, how it looks like. So for example, suppose this is x-axis, this is y-axis, and two straight lines as we are drawing that first straight line in blue color. So that is we define as the straight line L, and another straight line what we are drawing in the green color is something like this. So it doesn't look like a straight line, something like this. See, like this. So suppose this is L dash. Now, if you see, there are two angles between them. One is that acute angle. So this is the acute angle. Now, if we find this, if we consider this acute angle as theta, then how we can find the value of theta, dear students? That we can write that tan theta is equal to mod of the difference of their slopes, that is in the numerator, that is m minus m dash, divided by 1 plus m into m dash, that is the product of their slopes plus 1. And from here only we can find the value of theta. What we can write is that is equal to tan inverse of mod of m minus m dash divided by 1 plus m into m dash. Now dear students, you know what is the value of m and m dash? We can find it out, right? What is the equation? Equation of the line L is ax plus by plus c, right? So what is the equation? We can quickly find it out there. The value of m and m dash. We already found it out earlier. So this equation is ax plus by plus c is equal to 0. So from here we can write y is equal to minus a by b into x minus c by b. So we get the value of m is equal to minus a by b. And similarly for the other equation L dash, what is this equation? It is a dash x plus b dash y plus c dash is equal to 0. And from here you can find the value of its slope in a similar manner. The way I just done it few seconds back, it should be minus a dash by b dash. And this value of m and m dash, that is m is equal to minus a by b and m dash equal to minus a dash by b dash, we can apply here, and we can find the value of theta is equal to tan inverse of mod of a dash b minus a b dash divided by a dash plus b dash. That is the acute angle. So always remember, dear students, so this is the acute angle between the two straight lines. You can remember both the variations of this formula. The most popular one is this one, that is theta is equal to tan inverse of mod of m minus m dash by 1 plus m into m dash. You may have a question, sir, why you are introducing the mod here? Because if it is an acute angle, as theta is an acute angle, so the tan of that acute angle is positive. So in case you find the value of the expression, that is m minus m dash by 1 plus m into m dash as negative, you should consider the positive value. Because tan of acute should always be positive, it can never be negative. Now dear students, as we found that acute angle theta, then what about the obtuse angle? Obtuse angle should be like this, that is pi minus theta. Correct or not? So obtuse angle is pi minus theta, and that's why we have written that obtuse angle is pi minus theta. Very important information, these two statements, dear students, that you will find a lot of numericals where you need to find the angle between the two straight lines, and there you need to apply the concept of whatever we have just learned. And whenever it is mentioned the angle between the two straight lines, always it is mentioned that the acute angle, if it is not mentioned specifically. Now the first point what we are going to next point what we are going to discuss is that it's called the point of intersection of the two straight lines, okay, L and L dash. Suppose these two straight lines L and L dash actually intersected at the point at a P, and what we are going to find the point of intersection of these two straight lines. Okay, so let me give you a visual representation, dear students, and then we will discuss. Okay, so suppose let me draw the coordinate axis first. So this is y-axis, this is x-axis. So this is x, origin, x dash. This is y, origin, y dash. So now we have two straight lines as we are representing in blue for the L, okay, and the green for the L dash, okay. So suppose this is L dash. So now the point is that they actually intersected at a point, okay. We need to find the point of intersection. Suppose P be the point of intersection of these two straight lines L and L dash. What is the equation of L, dear students? Equation of L is, we know that it is Ax plus By plus C is equal to 0. And what is the equation of L dash, dear students? That we know is that A dash x plus B dash y plus C dash equal to 0. Now in simple terms, in very simple terms is that to find the point of intersection of these two straight lines is nothing but finding a solution to the system of linear equations. So we have a system of linear equations, a pair of linear equations, specifically to say Ax plus By plus C is equal to 0 and A dash x plus B dash y plus C dash is equal to 0. And if you just solve it using the method what you have learned in your earlier classes, is either it is substitution or cancellation or graphical method, whatever you can do, you will find the value of x is equal to b into c dash minus b dash into c divided by a into b dash minus a dash into b, and the value of y you are going to get is that c into a dash minus a dash into c divided by a into b dash minus a dash into b. Correct? So the point is that this is the point of intersection of the two straight lines, and hence their coordinate is something like this, what we have written it here. So the very practical thing is that whenever you don't need to remember this point of intersection per se, it is second priority, I will tell, very practical manner, because you can quickly find their solution by solving this one. But if you can remember this point of intersection formula, it is well enough, very good, but it is not very mandatory in context to this particular point. Okay, but all this, the previous things you need to remember, that is very, very important. Okay, now what we are going to discuss, dear students, so suppose there is two straight lines L and L dash. Now passing through these straight lines, you can have many straight lines passing through it. What I wanted to mean by this is something like this one. So let me discuss in the next page. Suppose let me draw the coordinate axis first. This is x dash, then y dash, and this is origin. So what I'm saying is that suppose we have a straight line something like this, which is the straight line L, and we have another straight line something like this, that is L dash. Okay, now the point of intersection of these two straight lines is P. Now we know the equation of the straight line L, correct? What is the equation of the straight line L? Equation of the straight line L is ax plus by plus c is equal to 0. So let me write it here properly. So equation of the straight line L is ax plus by plus c is equal to 0, and equation of L dash is a dash x plus b dash y plus c dash is equal to 0. Correct? Now their point of intersection we see is that that P. P is the point of intersection. Now, dear students, through the point P, we can have infinite number of straight line passing through. This is one, this is one, this is one, this is one. Like this, infinite number of straight line it is passing through. What will be the equation of such straight line in a very generic form? Okay, that is the point of the discussion. The equation of that straight line passing through the point of intersection is something like this. It is ax plus by plus c plus lambda into a dash x plus b dash y plus c dash is equal to 0. This is the equation of a straight line, okay, passing through the point of intersection of ax plus by plus c is equal to 0 and a dash x and b dash y plus c dash equal to 0, where lambda belongs to the set of real numbers. Now, as we just now, what I'm saying is that lambda belongs to R, the set of real numbers. Then what happens is that as lambda belongs to R, the set of real numbers, so what we get is that as you vary lambda, you will get different straight lines. Correct? As you vary lambda, you will get different straight lines, and hence you get different equations. Correct? And as you see, suppose we say this is straight line S1, this is straight line S2, this is straight line S3, this is straight line S4, and in that way there are different straight lines. So what we get is that as we vary lambda, we get different straight lines. Okay, so this is that one point what I wanted to discuss with you. That is called that the equation of any straight line passing through the point of intersection of the straight lines L and L dash, that is passing through the point P, as we see in the point of intersection is something like that: ax plus by plus c plus lambda into a dash x plus b dash y plus c dash equal to 0, where lambda belongs to R. Now with this, I would like to conclude the class here, dear students, and next class what we will be discussing is that we will be discussing the bisectors of the straight line, that internal angle bisectors, and the relevant discussion we will be discussing in the next class. So with this, dear students, I would like to conclude the class here. Okay, thank you very much.